Hello everyone, I'm Francisco Meléndez coming at you with my Oscar predictions for the 2020 Oscars. For example, out of all the acting categories, we've all known, Joaquin Phoenix is getting in for Joker for Best Actor. Best Actress, Renee Zellweger for Judy. Best Supporting Actor, Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Best Supporting Actress, Laura Dern for Marriage Story. While each actor had some form of competition leading up to it, like, Taron Egerton for Best Actor, Awkwafina for Best Actress, and J-Lo for Best Supporting Actress, they've all dropped like flies since then. They were all snubbed, unjustly, I might add. And out of all the categories, the only one that still has a close, itty-bitty, tiny shot out of coming out on top, it's Joe Pesci for Best Supporting Actor. But if you ask me personally, I would not have even nominated Renee Zellweger, Brad Pitt, or Laura Dern in their respective categories. If it were up to me, Adam Sandler would be getting rewarded for his work in Uncut Gems, Lupita Nyong'o for Us, J-Lo for Hustlers, and Song Kang-ho for Parasite. However, none of them were nominated because the Academy just be like that sometimes. I do like that Phoenix guy, he did a good job in Joker, if you were to ask me. Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood did a much better job, and even more than that, Adam Driver in Marriage Story just did such a great job with those roles, adding so many layers to those characters, whereas Phoenix really was just working with a script that wasn't there. In the Best Actress category, I believe Saoirse Ronan did something truly remarkable with the character of Jo in Little Women. Props to Cynthia Erivo, she did something really great in Harriet, and I thought she would be snubbed, so I'm happy to see her there. But once again, not a strong category in a year that was full of tremendous performances. For Supporting Actress, I'd have to single out Florence Pugh, again from Little Women. So, aside from her, I will say Margot Robbie did do something pretty good in Bombshell, but aside from Florence Pugh, I don't think any of these women really do stand out as the best of the best in the year. So I don't see how these were the nominees. Similarly, I feel that Brad Pitt was much better in Ad Astra. Sure, a leading role, but still, that movie blew his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood out of the water. And out of all the other people nominated, I liked Al Pacino and Tom Hanks in The Irishman and A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood a lot. They were really good, but once again, Joe Pesci would be the only one that I'd single out as one of the best performances of the year. Now we got Director. 2 out of 5 of these nominees were gods on Earth who made amazing movies this year. One of them, a god on Earth who, got outshone this year. Sorry, Marty, but it's true. You got the Foot guy who, he's done other stuff I like, but, And then there is Todd friggin' Phillips. I have to assume they meant to nominate Lulu Wang here, right? Or Greta Gerwig, or Taika Waititi, or the Safdie brothers, or literally anyone else. Okay, but I digress. So, who's gonna win it? Well, it's obviously gonna be Sam Mendes, and if not him, maybe Bong Joon-ho from Parasite. Now for the big one, Best Picture. There are 9 nominees. It's anyone's game, and no, it's not. It's 1917's. But what could hypothetically, theoretically take its place? Parasite? Well, here's the thing. The consistent foreign language wins, they just remind me way too much of Roma last year, which also had a great streak going into the Oscars, but lost the pivotal award against that one movie I'm not going to mention. Then, Once Upon a Tour Through the Feet of Hollywood, what about that one? And I'll give you this, it did win the Critics' Choice Award and the Golden Globe for Comedy. But aside from that, it hasn't kept up the momentum, and it came out in the summer. That's a long time to keep going, so yeah, I don't think it's very likely. What about Jojo Rabbit, or Marriage Story, or The Irishman, or Ford v Ferrari? All these movies, they just don't have the traction to win this. Surprisingly, despite all the attention it got, The Irishman may walk home unrewarded. Meanwhile, all the pull for Ford v Ferrari seems to be centered around a few technical awards like editing and sound mixing/editing. What about Little Women? A lot of members' disinterest in movies about female domesticity, the snub of Greta Gerwig, and the fact that the last time a movie with all female leads won Best Picture was with Chicago. I'd say this isn't too likely. Now, how about Joker? While people may point to the 11 nominations as a sign of Academy love for this movie, that's rarely a sign the movie's gonna win the big one. To make matters worse, Best Picture is voted in a preferential ballot, and I can't imagine many Academy voters placing A, a superhero movie high on their list, and B, a massively controversial film so high on their list, especially with all this other competition going on. Also, it was just not good. Grow up. See a real movie. Alright, so that's my picks. We kept it civil, light and fluffy. We want to know who you think will win, who you think should win, and who would you have nominated. Tweet us at MUTV23 and go to mutv.missouri.edu to find out more. I know everyone makes fun of the Oscars, and so do I, but I think it's really important to remember that these are the awards that Hollywood itself gives out. This is what Hollywood values. With 2019, which had so many directors stepping out of their comfort zone, so many new, fresh, diverse voices getting out there, getting the recognition, getting their stories heard, it just really makes me wonder how much is changing and how long is it going to take for the Academy Awards to catch up? How much hope do all the new voices in Hollywood have if every time they do get out there, they just get ignored? See you next time.